Hello there, Auto Chess! You are a quite popular game. So many people are talking about you right now, but not us, and not today. Instead, we are going to check on some new and less noticeable Android games of June 2019 that are probably, just probably deserve your attention. And there will be a short story involving a developer in the middle of this video. Don't miss it. Let's roll! The first game on this list is Bullet Echo. It is a simplified top-down hero shooter with a heavy emphasis on Battle Royale themed game modes. The game was recently ported from iOS to Android, and I have to say that this is an ambitious title and probably has some large developer behind it. And this is my opinion based on overall production size and quality. Bullet Echo is a good attempt at a mobile battle royale game since it has easy to understand mechanics and a minimal gaming session that is fast enough for a convenient mobile experience. Let's highlight specific features of the game. There is a vision mechanic that prevents players from seeing what is not in their field of view. Also, there is a noise mechanic. Fast movement and shooting are producing sound, and that is shown by special markers. The third unique feature is scoping. Basically, it works like that. Standing still reduces a player's bullet spread. All those features make Bullet Echo's gameplay somewhat original and add a tactical element to this slow-paced, top-down shooter. I cannot say something very specific about the graphics in Bullet Echo. Art is fresh, cool and has a decent quality to it, especially in the character department. It's not mind-blowing, but also is not bad. If we assume that this is a big developer's game, I can tell that visuals will improve in some way. As an example, I can totally see 2D characters in the lobby being animated. You can't say hero shooter without hero, and game offers a lot of them. Each character has unique abilities and weapons. That obviously adds diversity to the overall gameplay and creates the potential for making specific team compositions when playing with friends. Yes, you can play with friends. Basically, Team Battle Royale is the main mode of the game. Look, this is me and my fellow Peter, and we are the team. We are not really friends, but that is still some teamwork. Heroes need to be unlocked, and they are also upgradable. The whole process is similar to the one very popular game. In fact, many progress-related things in Bullet Echo are very similar to that game. It is good until this meta progression model becomes full pay to win. And yes, there are no ads here. You should totally try Bullet Echo if you are into top-down action games and battle royale genre, but be ready to bump into rough moments here and there. Check this out. The character's size is magically changing when I switch between windows. Also, the tutorial is a bit of Putin and may make you think that the game is too bland and simple. If you are ready to get through that, you'll have some fun since the gameplay is actually good. Drag Slayer is a survival action game with swipe-based mechanics, retro visual style and some RPG elements on top of it. The plot, if you can say so, is very simple. Army of demons is invading, and the player has to stop this unauthorized bullshit while controlling one single hero. Rules are simple. Players draw a path by swiping at the screen, and the character moves along with that path, simultaneously attacking whatever stands that way. Characters have a limited amount of health, which can be reduced by enemy attacks. Also, there are spells. To cast a spell, a player has to draw a specific shape, and if they succeed, a powerful attack with special effects will be launched. That makes the game quite fair and skill-based, since you can dramatically improve your result if you will master the mechanics, start playing carefully and begin planning ahead. The visual style is nice, but probably only somebody with pixel art kink will truly appreciate it. Also, there are some style consistency problems. Some characters and monsters look cool and consistent, while some are not. Look at those skeletons. There is some meta content on top of the basic game. Characters can be unlocked and upgraded with the currency collected in battles, but lack of resources isn't very noticeable and can be compensated with a player improving their skill. The need to have and to upgrade many characters is designed in a lazy way here. There is an additional mode which allows you to send a group of your characters to fight bosses to get permanent buffs. Drag Slayer is a great game for someone who is interested in skill-based time killer and ready to endure some rare advertisements. The game number 3 is Spirit Saga, a clicker starring Kanasu, anime schoolgirl priestess that rides flying eggplant god to fight evil spirits, and this game is on my list only because of how mad this idea is and how dope the game looks. Gameplay-wise, it is just generic clicker, but with a healthy bit of a humorous narrative. You have to tap to shoot barrages of smaller eggplants at the enemies and that kills them. Spirit Saga offers all the popular pieces of a basic modern incremental game, but what makes it stand out is clever interpretation and stylish design. The narrative is fun, unobtrusive, and mainly centered on Kanasu getting to know about different evil spirits, which are representing mildly unpleasant stuff about humanity. As an example, you will meet spirits of corrupt policemen, grumpy old men, perverts and clickbait YouTubers. Personally, I found it motivating to click through the enemies to get a new piece of a story. Also, Spirit Saga gives you some progress while you are away, so it makes unlocking new pieces of the story kinda easier. Amazing and clean cartoony visuals of Spirit Saga are adding to the story, as we get all the characters and spirits in a very detailed and colorful appearance. And there are no 4 studs, which always is a pleasant thing. Play this game if you are a fan of incremental games and want to check out something unusual and story-based. As for me, I would prefer Spirit Saga to be a bullet hell game. That would be the thing. Moonlight Knight is a linear action platformer and a game number 4 on my list. The story of this tranquil-looking game is about a warrior whose friend was seemingly randomly killed by some dark knight, and now our hero is on his path to revenge. That is some classic stuff, you know. The game is probably inspired by some classic games, and I would say that Moonlight Knight contains more of a platformer than action. Just look at this. Platforming design is on some serious level here and comparable to bigger titles. This is really cool stuff. And to contrast that, here are some action elements. Notice how easily enemies are ignored. I have to say that this is quite fun stuff right here. I like to break games. What else this game can offer to a player? Well, a bit more of stuff. There are unlockable weapons and upgradable abilities. Both are obtainable by playing the game and exploring the levels. Some abilities are useful and some are not. To be honest, that doesn't look like very balanced and is a sign of a weak combat system. But anyways, despite having some flaws, Moonlight Knight still is a fun game and can give a player an interesting platforming experience. In addition, there are some arena challenges that are standing apart from the main plot and are a form of endless gameplay for Moonlight Knight. Those are hard to survive for a long time and also a good place to farm in-game currency, at least early in the game. It is my free hint for you. You cannot see me winking, but I just did so. Here is my favorite part. It is about monetizing, and in this specific case is about ads. Funny story, there are no ads at all, but the game shop contains the $1 offer to block the ads. The ads are probably broken now and may appear in the future, so beware. As I have said before, try Moonlight Knight if you want to expand your mobile platforming experience. There are some really great level design ideas, but tread carefully, since sometimes they are not very well executed. Crabble is game number 5. It is an original survival action shooter that is probably inspired by games like Crimson Land. The player controls a ball-shaped combat robot that has 2 movement modes, walking and rolling. In the walk mode, player can shoot and moves slower. In contrast to this, in the ball mode, player can shoot and moves faster. As this character, the player has to fight against hordes of zombie-like bots. An additional level of depth is added by the fact that players can jump over the obstacles, which makes the game more strategic than it looks at the first glance. Player has awesome movement potential, which allows interesting tactical decisions and intensive kiting. In Crabble, you will soon enough find yourself exploiting level terrain and enemy inability to climb over obstacles to your benefit, and this experience is extremely satisfying. There is some progression in the form of unlocking new upgrades for your robot by farming game currency and spending it in the shop. Also, there are some customization options in visual and equipment changing domains. As an example, a player can change robot skins or weapon loadout. Crabble is a game made by a solo developer, and I have to say that this is a quite good attempt at game making. The absence of forced in-game ads is a bold and polite move in this case. Furthermore, I have a nice story to share. I've managed to contact the developer. His name is Samuel, by the way. So, Samuel has some ideas on how to enhance his Crabble. For now, it is basically more variety in terms of level design and new enemy types. It is always very exciting to connect with a game developer that is open to discussion. And he stated that he hates ads. Blin, what a type he is. So I do encourage you to play this game if you want to have some enjoyable and original survival action experience. Let's see if Samuel will deliver any soon. Game number 6 is Disaster Log C. This is a visual novel from 2017 that was recently ported to Android devices. It was made by 2 developers as a Eurogame Jam contest entry, so this is an interactive story about women relationships. Some education is probably needed. Yuri is a Japanese term for girl-on-girl action, but hold your horses. This game isn't about sexy time really. I would say this story is more like about relations between 2 different people in a hard situation, and genders are quite interchangeable here. It is a novel about friendship, love and building trust in some kind of rainy post-apocalyptic world, which has some twists to it. Let's stop talking about the plot from now, since it should not be spoiled. Disaster Log C goes on like your basic visual novel, where players watch and read most of the time, while making choices when there is such an opportunity. Making different choices will lead to different game endings, so you can say that choices are meaningful here. Game visuals are clean, beautiful and sometimes even animated. That is a cool thing for a game jam visual novel, since devs often have very little time to produce an entry game. Play Disaster Log C if you do not afraid of spicy themes and want to get some relaxed, streamlined and unique visual novel experience. Also, this game is pure art in the sense that it is free and has no in-game ads at all. I need to say that while I don't like visual novels much, this one has kept me engaged for some time. Here you can see the rolling wheel. This is a game about that, yes, and it is sort of nice. The game number 7 on my list is named Roller Rush, and it is an endless runner about a rolling wheel that is presented in the pleasant aesthetic of retro-futuristic virtual reality. Tron's fans are proving that, I guess. The game has pretty visuals, responsive controls and satisfying mechanics. The rules are very simple. The wheel rolls through the level and is only allowed to touch cubes of similar color. Touching any other stuff stops the game immediately. Rolling through color gates will change the wheel's color. The longer you play, the higher the speed. That's it. The level design fucks with the player mind in clever ways, which adds another level of depth to the roller rush. Check out how this shit tries to trick me by mixing up collectibles patterns. It is a cool game and a great time killer. Additional challenges and unlockable visuals are there too. It's meant to prolong the game's life greatly if you did like the original gameplay. The biggest unpleasant moment in Roller Rush is the presence of undemanded ads, which are shown too often in my opinion. What's even worse is that you can't pay to block those. And we all know what to try if we find ads too unpleasant. Quit the game, clear the cache, shut down Wi-Fi and mobile data. Open the game and hope that the game doesn't require an internet connection to launch. Fire up your connection again, bля, a whole lot better now. I still recommend watching commercials from time to time, so developer you like gets some support. Number 8 is Dungeon Faster. This is another interesting game on my list that was made by a single developer. Dungeon Faster is an original turn-based card roguelite game with impressive cartoony graphics that has a unique artistic style to it. That solo developer clearly loves man nipples, I must admit, but the quality of art and the character design are consistent and simply amazing. Now let's try to get how this game is played, and this is not that easy. In Dungeon Faster, a player tries to reach the end of a dungeon as a single character, while clearing level by level. I do not want to do another boring description of every damned gameplay mechanic, since we can dive too deep here. So the description will be as short as I can deliver. In Dungeon Faster you will manage your resources, which are needed to fight against monsters. A major part of those resources is an ever-expanding deck of cards, which can be used to manipulate nearly everything in this game. Every level consists of blocks, and the player can remove those turn by turn. Under every block there can be a random item, card, event or enemy. To win, it is crucial to learn about every entity in the game and then be strategic about the usage of every item you have in your disposition. And yeah, death is a permanent thing here, which can be devastating, and this is one of the things why the game is interesting. You have to do that one perfect run. That is offset by the presence of meta progression. By playing the game, you acquire some golden teeth, and those can be used to upgrade cards and characters, so the next play will be a little bit easier than the previous one. Characters, yes, they can be upgraded too, and they have unique abilities. As an example, this dual-wielding brute can reduce the time he spends stunned. Can you guess what is that thing he dual-wields? You should totally play Dungeon Faster if you are ready to spare some time to get through early tutorial gameplay, and this is the place that can discourage a lot. Entry is a bit hard on the player, but when you do manage to understand the game, it becomes a smooth and fast-paced roguelite Android experience with great visuals. The game gets bonus points for having no in-game advertisements at all. So, that was the last game for this time. Thank you for checking my video out. Actually, this is my second entry on this topic, so it's basically a series now. You can watch the previous video about obscure Android games of May 2019 by using this link or checking out my channel. And one more thing, I will totally appreciate any form of feedback, because I want to know what you guys think about stuff that you have just watched. Go on, Yopta, leave your opinion in the comments down down below. The next big video will be ready in somewhat like 30 days. Your opinion won't really change that. Have a good time.